Hi, my name's Adam. I'm at Central Station in Sydney, and today we're going to be travelling to Dubbo in central western New South Wales by train. And not just any train, but an XPT, a train that's been running for 40 years. So let's go. The trip to Dubbo will take just under 6.5 hours, covering a distance of 462 kilometres. The train will have to climb more than 1,000 metres to cross the Blue Mountains before making it onto the central tablelands and then on to Dubbo. In this video, we'll explore this iconic train, sample some of the onboard catering, see some incredible scenery as we cross the Great Dividing Range, and find out about some of the landmarks along the way. Today's journey begins in the harbour city. Welcome to Central Station, the largest and busiest railway station in Australia. Most regional and intercity trains leave from this side of the station. Our train is departing from platform 5. There's a luggage office on platform 1. You can check in a maximum of 2 20-kilogram bags up until 30 minutes before departure. Here's our train. Based on the British Rail-designed Intercity 125 high-speed train, each XPT is made up of 2 locomotives in a push-pull formation coupled to between 4 and 7 carriages. The Dubbo XPT has 4 carriages, a combined luggage and economy seating car, an economy car, a combined buffet and first class car, and a first class car. XPT is short for Express Passenger Train. This was the first XPT power car to be built, number 2000. The Central West XPT, which we're travelling on today, was the first train service to be regularly operated by an XPT, introduced in April 1982. And here's a British HST. You can see the similarity. You'll spot a few XPTs if you visit Central Station in the early morning. This is the XPT to Casino in the Northern Rivers region. And it's time for it to depart. Meanwhile, the inbound service from Casino arrives on platform 3. That's enough train spotting. Time to hop aboard. I'm travelling in the front car, car B. There's no car A. There's space for luggage in the vestibule. This is a first class carriage, but seating in both economy and first class is in a 2x2 arrangement. I'm in seat 5. First class on trains in New South Wales basically provides more space. Food and drink is not included in the fare. There are luggage racks for smaller bags above the seat. We depart on schedule. This Gothic-style station, now closed, was once a terminal for funeral trains. Each seat has a tray table and a seat pocket containing a bin bag for rubbish. There's a fold-down footrest. The legroom is generous. There's an overhead reading lamp There's no Wi-Fi or at-seat charging points. We head through Sydney's inner western suburbs. Our first stop is Strathfield. Between here and Lithgow, all stops are pick-up only, as these stations are served by Blue Mountain's intercity services.
It's currently open and serving from a light refreshment menu. We have available bacon and egg Turkish rolls, as well as ham and cheese toasties. We also have plain croissants served with butter and strawberry jam. Those accompanied by a hot drink are available for a price of just $6. We also have meat pies, sausage rolls, vegetable pasties, a selection of sandwiches, soft drinks, fruit juices, flavoured milks, confectionery and other light refreshment items. When purchasing items of hot food from the buffet, particularly tea, coffee or hot chocolate, you'll receive a white cardboard carry tray. Please keep that tray with you throughout your journey, reusing it and discarded in the rubbish only at the end of your journey. This limits the use of the trays. For your convenience, you'll find rubbish receptacles at the ends of the carriages as well as near the buffet in car C, and intermittent rubbish collections will occur during your journey. Should anyone have difficulty getting to the buffet, please mention this to a crew member so that assistance may be provided. Once again, welcome on board and we wish you a pleasant journey.
The tray tables are a decent size and reasonably sturdy. They don't move forward or backward. We're now arriving in the main business district in Western Sydney, Parramatta. Parramatta Station is one of Sydney's oldest, opening in 1860. About 10 minutes later, we arrive in Blacktown. Let's get something for breakfast. There are water fountains in each carriage. The buffet car also contains a small first-class cabin and 2 spaces for wheelchairs. There are a number of meal combos available. Here's the full menu. There's a reasonable selection. If you want to take a closer look, I'll include a link in the description. I order an egg and bacon Turkish roll, which the staff tell me will take a while to heat in the convection oven. And I order a coffee. But there's no espresso machine on board, so it's like a tea bag but filled with ground coffee. We're now coming into Penrith, located on the edge of the Sydney Basin. After this, we'll begin climbing into the Blue Mountains. At this point, we're running about 10 minutes behind schedule.
We have Jennifer, she'll be in charge of the buffet, making all announcements regarding the buffet, and she'll be able to assist by day, Mindyarra checking tickets where visible. My name is Blayney, I'm the passenger services supervisor for your journey through to Dubbo. Ladies and gentlemen, when using electronic devices on board, such as laptops, they play iPods and playing music on mobile phones. To use these devices, you will need to be wearing earphones at all times. Very sensitive smoke detectors have been fitted throughout the train, including the toilets, and your cooperation in not smoking whilst on board is appreciated and also in your best travelling interest. The only alcohol to be consumed on board this service is alcohol that was being purchased from our buffet by persons over the age of 18 after midday today. No any social behaviour will be tolerated on this service. If we have any breaches of any of our policies, You may be removed by police at this platform. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, it's mandatory to be wearing a mask on board this service. It's actually a finable offence, possible removal from the service if you're not wearing one. If you do require one, please come to the buffet in car C. We're more than happy to give you one. Ladies and gentlemen, this service will be stopping at Katoomba, Lithgow, Rydal and Tarana only if required. Bathurst, Blayney, Millthorpe only if required. Followed by Orange, Stuart Town, Wellington, Geurie and Dubbo. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, enjoy your journey with us today via any of the onboard crew convenience systems. Please don't stay fast. Thanks for your attention once again.
We're now climbing into the mountains, and as you can hear, the curves are creating work for the train's suspension. We get a good look at the sandstone that was a major barrier to explorers making their way west. We enter our first tunnel at Glenbrook. Now that we're well on our way, let's find out a bit more about this classic train. The XPTs were built by Commonwealth Engineering Limited based on the British Rail designed Intercity 125 high-speed train. The HST design had to be significantly modified to suit Australian standards. The traction motor gearing was lowered to enable the XPT to climb long, steep gradients. The engine cooling capacity was doubled. The suspension was made more compliant to cope with the inferior tracks, and air filters were modified to cater for the dust and the heat. On a demonstration run to Albury in 1981, the XPT set a new Australian rail speed record of 183 km per hour. XPTs revolutionised rail travel in New South Wales at the time and were the pride of the fleet, cutting travel times compared to traditional loco-hauled trains. 40 years on and they remain reliable and comfortable workhorses, although they are scheduled to be replaced by new trains beginning next year. XPTs run to Melbourne, Dubbo, Grafton, Casino and Brisbane. Anyway, enough of the history lesson. Temperatures in the Blue Mountains can get quite cool, so it's not uncommon to see smoke from wood heaters. For much of the route, we parallel the Great Western Highway, the main route between Sydney and Bathurst. We've already gained significant altitude. We're now approaching one of the steepest sections of railway line in the state, with a grade of 1 in 31. That means for every 31 metres we travel, we climb 1 metre. That's equivalent to 1.8 degrees, which might not sound much, but it is for a main line. We get some nice glimpses of the Blue Mountains National Park near Lyndon. The trains you'll see most often up here are the stainless steel double-decker V sets. Built between 1970 and 1989, all these years later the trains remain popular with commuters and train enthusiasts alike. They operate interurban services. Services between Sydney and Katoomba generally operate hourly, but run more often in peak hour. The V sets are meant to be replaced by new trains from South Korea, D sets, which we should get a glimpse of in Lithgow. The XPT carriages are very quiet compared to a diesel multiple unit. The loudest sounds are the air conditioning and the suspension system. The line really is a feat of engineering. Huge amounts of sandstone had to be cut or blasted through the mountains to build it. The crew deliver the hot Turkish roll to my seat. It took about an hour to heat using the convection ovens aboard. The crew did warn me it would take a while because they'd just sold the last hot one before I ordered. It might not look too flash, but it tastes pretty good. We're now approaching the largest town in the Blue Mountains, Katoomba.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're arriving at Katoomba Station. Katoomba Station, this stop, followed by Lithgow.
The railway station opened in 1874. Katoomba is a popular tourist destination. One of the best known attractions is the Three Sisters. We get views of the Megalong Valley. The heritage-listed Hydro Majestic Hotel is notable for its unusual mix of architectural styles, including Art Deco and Edwardian. The casino dome was bought in Chicago and shipped to Australia. The village of Blackheath is known as something of an artistic community and also well known for its regular markets. We get views of the Katoomba Valley. We're about to pass the site of a major landslip that closed this rail line for 4 weeks. Heavy downpours in early July caused the landslip more than 60 metres deep. Repairs included bringing in 40,000 tonnes of rock to rebuild the embankment. The repairs were estimated to take up to 6 weeks, but were completed in 4. Lucky for me, or this train wouldn't be running today. Bell is the highest elevation station on the New South Wales Train Link network at 1,069 metres above sea level. And that means we're now starting our ascent. There's a rail loop serving a colliery here. To help us make the descent to the central tablelands, we're about to pass through 10 tunnels. The tunnels replaced the Lithgow zigzag. The zigzag limited the length of trains over the mountains and required 2 changes in direction. Here's the zigzag, which is now a heritage railway. After the bottom points, the zigzag rejoins the main Western line we're travelling on today. Here's another perspective. This photo is from 1956 and this is the Central West Express, the train that the Dubbo XPT replaced. By the late 1800s, the zigzag had become an increasingly inefficient bottleneck. The 10 tunnels deviation opened in 1910. The tunnels vary in length from 70 to 825 metres and reduce journey times by up to 30 minutes. The 10-tunnel deviation was a major engineering achievement and a key part of the second phase of railway crossing across the Great Dividing Range. The tunnels are now heritage listed. We get a glimpse of one of the zigzag viaducts. We're now in the Lithgow Valley.
Ladies and gentlemen, shall we be arriving at Lithgow Station? If you're booked to ride at Lithgow, please be ready to do so. Do check around the bogie seats for any personal items may be brought on board. Ready! Now Lithgow coaches. Lithgow Station, this stop, followed by Rydal.
These are New South Wales' new fleet of electric intercity trains, the D-sets. They will operate Blue Mountains, Newcastle and Kiama services. However, they require a number of modifications before the rail union is prepared to operate them. Lithgow is the end of the line for electric intercity services from Sydney. This coal power station at Wallerawang was mothballed in 2014 and subsequently closed because of a lack of access to competitively priced coal and the power station's high operating costs. The station opened here in 1870 and is heritage listed.
Rydal station this box followed by Tarana.
Rydal is a request stop, meaning the train only stops if passengers are booked to get on or off. There's a restored guards van here. The track here curves back and forth. The 19th century alignments of the railway make it hard to compete with journey times by road. Our average speed on this journey is 72 kilometres per hour, nowhere near the train's top speed of 160 kilometres per hour. And now we can see our next stop, Tarana.
Tarana station this stop, ladies and gentlemen, Rydal car seat for Charlie.
The line through Rydal and Tarana used to be duplicated, which is why there are two platforms, but the line was converted to a single track in the late 90s. Let's check out the bathroom. Okay, what do we have here? A basic sink, soap, toilet. Has what you need really. Just to note, these taps, you have to push them really hard to get the water to flow. So I'm now in the rear car, which, as you can see, is very lightly loaded. So there's plenty of space in this car for economy passengers. The main differences with the seats, they have slightly less leg room. They don't recline quite as much. This is the recline in an economy seat. We'll take a bit of a walk through the train. The majority of passengers are in the next car along. And some of the seats have built-in tables. I think most passengers are sitting in the carriage where the system has automatically booked them. So this economy carriage is quite busy. And we're back at the buffet. There are a few solo seats in this first class cabin. This is the accessible toilet. And we're back where we started, Car B. We start to get some speed up as we head towards Bathurst.
This will be arriving at Bathurst Station. If you're booked to ride at Bathurst, please be ready to do so. Do check around above your seats for any personal items. Bathurst Station coming up, followed by Blayney.
Bathurst is Australia's oldest inland European settlement, dating from 1815. We're now more than halfway to Dubbo. Many years ago, I lived in Bathurst and worked on the local newspaper, the Western Advocate. Bathurst used to be a major railway centre. It's also the birthplace of Australian Prime Minister Ben Chifley, who was a steam train driver before he became PM. But the city is probably best known for the V8 races, the Bathurst 1000. The circuit is located on Mount Panorama, which you can just see here.
Ladies and gentlemen, shortly a crew member will be passing through the train, sending out reservation tickets for hot meals for lunch. Today's menu is the roast pork with vegetables. We also have roast turkey with vegetables, spaghetti bolognese, and the vegetarian option is the vegetable lasagna. Each of these meals is available for a price of $10.50. Any passenger wishing to reserve a hot meal for lunch, please be ready to obtain a reservation ticket from Dave as he passes through your carriage. A further announcement will be made in approximately 1 hour when those meals are hot and ready for collection. Also, I would like to point out that this announcement is for those passengers who are travelling beyond or further than Orange. Otherwise, you will not have time to comfortably complete your meal. That menu again, the roast pork with vegetables, the roast turkey with vegetables, spaghetti bolognese, and the vegetarian lasagna, each available for a price of $10.50.
We pass lots of sheep and cattle. And this is the railway station at Newbridge, dating from 1882. Trains no longer stop here.
Blayney Station coming up, followed by Millthorpe.
Millthorpe is a request stop. The station reopened here in 2019, having been closed for many years before this. The main station building is now a cafe. After the station was closed, the tracks were realigned about 3 metres away from the platform, so an extension to the platform was built to meet the tracks. time for lunch. I decide to get a white wine as well.
Quite a nice wine, so I'm told.
Awesome. Customers are encouraged to reuse these cardboard trays. We're now coming into Orange. Just before Orange Station, the line to Broken Hill and onto Perth branches off to the west, while we continue north towards Dubbo.
Booked-on luggage can be collected towards the centre of the platform from the station staff shortly after our arrival. For those passengers with luggage booked on the connecting coaches, this luggage will be transferred to the coaches for you. Orange Station coming up, ladies and gentlemen, from across Stuart Town.
Orange appears to be the most popular destination on our route, with a lot of passengers getting off here. Because of its altitude, Orange often gets snow in winter. It's a hot meal, and I've gone for the roast turkey with vegetables and a Sauvignon Blanc, which comes in a glass. The staff said it's quite nice. Bon appetit. One disadvantage of first class is that because there's more leg room, the tray table is further from your seat, so it can be a little bit harder to reach your food. Well, it's not going to win any awards, but for $10.50, yeah, it's not too bad. The crew start rotating empty seats ready for the return journey. Classy. If you know how to rotate the seats, you can make a bay of 4 seats like this. Since Orange, the carriage is almost empty. So let's take a look at the seat recline in first class, which is more generous than in economy. Oh, there we go. It's quite far back actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, shortly be arriving at Stuart Town Station. The only door open will be the rear door of car seat for Charlie. Just next to the buffet where a crew member will be there to assist you at Stuart Town Station. This stop, followed by a
Ladies and gentlemen, the buffet in car seat will soon be closing. Any passengers wishing to make any purchases to tide you over to the end of your trip, just pop up to the buffet in car seat. We have just taken out some hot foods. That is meat pies and sausage rolls. So Dave tells me, hot and available for immediate purchase. The buffet will be closing on departure from Wellington.
It gets wetter as we head northwest, but the rain doesn't last long. As we're not too far from our destination, let's take a look at the fares for this route. A one-way fare from Central to Dubbo is just over $56 Australian in economy, or $78 in first class. I think that's reasonable value. Wellington is the second oldest town west of the Blue Mountains and was started as a convict establishment in 1823. They've clearly had a lot of rain here. The land is quite waterlogged. We reach decent speed on the approach to Dubbo.
Ladies and gentlemen, shortly be arriving and terminating at Dubbo Station. Please do look round above your seats for any first items you may have brought on board. Booked on luggage can be collected towards the rear of the service on the platform shortly after our arrival.
The New South Wales Government is going to replace the XPT as well as its other regional trains with a new bi-mode fleet. A maintenance facility is being built here in Dubbo to service the new fleet. There's a lot of passengers waiting at the station already to catch the 2:15 p.m. train to Sydney. There are daily bus connections to Broken Hill and Lightning Ridge.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to those who have just arrived on today's XPT service.
This is as far as passenger trains go, although freight trains continue to Nyngan. So here I am in Dubbo, safely arrived on time, and it was a really enjoyable journey. I definitely recommend giving the XPT a go. The XPT operates a return service between Sydney and Dubbo 7 days a week. Dubbo Station opened in 1881 and is heritage listed. Entering the ticket office is a bit like going back in time. It's very retro in a good way. Dubbo is a Wiradjuri word describing the red soil of the Western Plains. And with that, our journey comes to an end. Here's Dubbo from the air. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Hope to see you soon.